Welcome back. This is Dave with SPRUCE Industries, and in this training video, we will be learning how to strip and recoat your floors. The purpose of this process is to protect the underlying tile and elevate the look of the facility. Let's take a look at the materials that you'll be using. Here's a couple key notes before we start. Map out the area that you'll be working on for the day. Plan to have that area closed off from all foot traffic to avoid ruining the floors. Have all materials gathered prior to starting, as some of the steps are time sensitive. Open all doors and windows. Okay, let's get started. Be sure to dust mop the entire area prior to stripping. The next step is to mix your stripper with cold water in a mop bucket at a ratio of 1 gallon of stripper per 2 gallons of water. You can use the measurement guide inside the mop bucket as a dilution reference. Next, we're going to apply the stripper to the floor very liberally with a mop. No need to wring out the mop, as we want the floor completely saturated. Let the stripper sit for 10 to 15 minutes to break down the existing finish. If the floor starts to dry, continue to add more stripper. Using a stripping pad on a low-speed floor machine, work in 6 to 10 foot square sections until down to the bare tile. Take out your scraper and doodle bug to remove finish from the edges and areas of buildup. Now, we're going to use the wet vac to remove the slurry from the stripper and dissolved finish. When finished using your mop bucket for stripper, be sure to thoroughly rinse out the mop and the bucket for further use. This next step is the most important step in the entire process. Rinse the floor with an auto scrubber or a mop with clean water, changing the water frequently. Repeat this step until there is no residue on the floor. Not completing this step will result in finish that flakes and discolors. You can use air movers, wet vac, and adequate time to completely dry the floor. Before we move on to the finishing portion of the process, here's a couple of key points. Close all doors and windows and turn off the HVAC system. This minimizes dust particles and debris that could potentially enter the area. Line your mop bucket with a trash liner to avoid wax buildup in the bucket. In this video, we'll be using a pocket frame flat mop system. The flat mop allows the user to apply more even coats and avoid splashing. Okay, let's get started. Pour your floor finish into the bucket. Lightly dip the flat mop pad into the finish and tamp the excess off. Start in the area furthest from the exit, working in 6 foot sections. Apply thin coats outlining the border of your section and working in a figure 8 motion. Once you've covered the entire area with the first coat, allow for proper dry time. This process can take 30 to 90 minutes depending on a number of factors, including temperature, humidity, and direct sunlight. Once again, ensure that the coat is completely dry to the touch before adding another coat. Repeat this process until 4 to 5 coats have been applied. The number of coats needed is determined by the percentage of solids in the finish, which should total 100%. An example of this is if you're using a 25% solid finish, there should be 4 coats. 25 times 4 is 100. If you're using a 20% finish, there should be 5 coats. 5 times 20 equals 100. As soon as you've finished your final coat, be sure to thoroughly rinse out your flat mop pad for future projects. The stripping and recoating process should be performed as needed, which is generally once a year. Routine burnishing and cleaning should be done to help prolong the process and preserve that sparkly clean look. Thanks for watching.